When we want to get rid of something in the digital world, we usually experience a false sense of relief. You right-click that little trash bin icon on your computer screen and select Empty Recycle Bin.
Yeah, that classic move.
Exactly. That satisfying little animation plays on the screen. Crumpled papers fly around and poof, you feel like everything is gone forever. Honestly, it's one of the cleanest, most hygienic illusions that modern life offers us.
Definitely an illusion. In fact, it's a very comforting lie designed by these operating systems to put us at ease.
A comforting lie. I like that.
So, psychologically, when we move data out of sight, we're programmed to believe it no longer exists. But in reality, what's happening in the background isn't even a deletion process.
Isn't it?
No, it's just a matter of address redirection. In other words, the computer simply forgets where that file is located. It doesn't destroy the file itself.
Exactly. While you might feel a bit anxious even about your own personal photos or old bank statements, have you ever wondered how massive corporations, global banks, or government agencies delete petabytes of sensitive data?
They can't just drag the file to the recycle bin and call it a day, of course.
Why do we have to physically destroy it?
That's a great question. Because this is actually the most common misconception in digital security. Even though software-based deletion or encryption methods seem effective in theory, in practice they have two major enemies.
And what are those?
Time and hardware architecture. Think of it this way. Overwriting a file with new data using software, that is, the wiping process, can take thousands of hours for a massive data center.
Thousands of hours?
Yes? Running this process on hundreds of drives at an enterprise level every day is an operational nightmare. Moreover, modern storage units, especially devices that use microchips instead of spinning disks, constantly move data around internally to prevent wear.
Oh, so the data doesn't stay in one place.
Exactly. When you tell the software to delete a file, you can never be completely sure that the hardware hasn't stored a copy of that data in an inaccessible hidden cell.
So you're saying that in the digital world, deleted data is actually just data that's become invisible to us. You're changing the lock on the door, but all the belongings inside the house remain as they are.
That's exactly right. And if you throw away a disk, it's like throwing the whole house, door, windows, and all, out onto the street.
That's an incredible risk.
Absolutely. Encryption algorithms age over time. A password that seems impossible to crack today might take just a few seconds for an ordinary computer 10 years from now.
Especially if those quantum computers come along, right?
Exactly. In the corporate world, where strict data protection policies are in place, saying, "I hope no one can break this password," is not an acceptable form of risk management. The only truly zero-trust solution is to break that disk into pieces so small that no one can ever read its secrets again.
It is known as zero trust. Though that is exactly what they call it.
Yes,
Has data recovery become so easy that we have to turn hard drives into digital confetti? So, is breaking the disk in half not enough anymore?
what's fascinating here is the logic behind those DIN 6639 security standards you mentioned. Levels like H4 and H5 aren't chosen at random.
So there's a mathematical basis to it.
Absolutely. The sections on data protection in the sources and the rules for data carriers explain this very clearly. As digital storage technology advances, we see that data is being written to much smaller spaces.
Uh-huh.
Think of a hard drive from the late 90s. Physically, it was huge, but its capacity was only a few megabytes. So dividing that disk into 4 or 8 parts was enough to compromise the structural integrity of the data.
Because the red head couldn't retrieve data from that damaged surface, right?
Exactly. But today, the situation is completely different. Data density has increased incredibly. Terabytes of data can fit into a single disk.
There are massive files in an area as small as a fingernail.
Exactly that. If you only divide a modern disk into 4 parts, each of those large pieces you end up with will still contain huge islands of intact data. A malicious person could use special microscopic laser readers to recover your company's most confidential data from those intact pieces.
Incredible. So the data is so densely packed that there's still a risk even on that tiny 11.5 millimeter piece of steel.
There is, of course. That's why the standards require the fragments to be reduced in size accordingly. There's a German term mentioned in the sources, Wiederherstellung unmöglich.
It means irrecoverable.
For truly irrecoverable destruction, you need to physically destroy the nano areas where that data is stored.